Hi Cancer, it's Jenny here with your April Tarot Horoscope. So we're just going to be pulling a single card for the month of April to see what's coming up for you. So the first 2/3 of April is Aries season. At March equinox, we started an energetic new year, starting with Aries season. So kind of new cycle, new energies here after we closed off the last year. And then towards the end of the month, we're going to be in Taurus season. That's going to be bringing an earth energy in. So that's what's going to be coming up this month in the astrology context. And then here's the card just popped out for you. So Cancer, this is what we have. We have Major Arcana. We have the Judgment card reversed. So this is the way it looks the right way up. So we have this figure, a Christ figure in the background, but he's kind of, there's a couple other people with him, but they're covered up by these butterflies. You can't really see what's going on. Up here, there's this angel figure blowing a trumpet. And then here we have these just rough outlines of some people in profile. And there's something down here at the bottom as well. It came out like this. So that's the card. We're going to see what Judgment has to say for us today. Okay, Judgment. The day of judgment is today. The image on the card is a traditional depiction of the Day of Judgment, somewhat modified by the butterflies and the two faces in profile. An angel is sounding the trumpet, the graves are opening up, and the dead are being brought back to life. In the foreground, we see an open shell sketched in black ink, revealing its pearl. This detail represents the message of the card. Powerful forces are being set in motion. Latent energies are being awakened. Processes of change and transformation are imminent. This card challenges you to take a closer look at and come to terms with those extreme aspects of your life. Desires and fears, as well as the habit of putting the blame on yourself and others, will have to be dealt with over and again until the mistakes of your past have been put to rights and your future path freed from old obstacles. Only then will rebirth be more than a mere repetition of the old. The story of Judgment Day is not just a religious myth. It is to be taken literally. The Day of Judgment is today. Each and every morning, we are faced with the task of becoming wide awake and gathering all of our energy so that we can really bury all that is dead and gone and prepare ourselves for the birth of what is yet to come. If we can accept every single day as a gift, we will gain in confidence and be able to welcome life's challenges. Desires and fears will always exist, but we can learn to deal with them appropriately. We will become receptive to the colorful spectacle that is life, which is inviting our participation. Practical advice: let go of what has been. Say your goodbyes and make your peace with the past. Learn to forgive without forgetting. Everything is important. You have made your choices in the past, and now you are free to choose anew and to decide which road you want to take. Whew, okay. Judgment Day always sounds so scary, but it really is a very empowering card and a very empowering message of renewal, really. So Judgment, has all these scary connotations of separating the good from the bad. In the Christian religious sense, there's a lot of you go to heaven or you hell, you made it in or not, and that can be a lot of our kind of cultural baggage understanding of Judgment Day. It's scary, judgment, but this card is really showing it's a celebration. The whole deeper into the story of Judgment Day is also this element of the dead are coming alive again, and so there's this victory as well, that which it's a bit of a paradox, because that which we thought was dead is coming alive again and is present now in the current moment in this Judgment Day to be a part of what's new. And yet this card is also talking about the past. Say goodbye to the past and move on. Every day you wake up, the old day is behind you and dead and gone, and now you have the future and ahead of you, and you get to make a choice every day. Every day is this new day. So there's this interesting kind of dichotomy here where you're like, so what is it? Is the past with us and the dead are waking up and all of our past experiences are a part of things? Or do we just get to let it go? And it's not there anymore, and every fresh is new. Every fresh is new. Every day is a fresh new day. So it seems contradictory, but it's not it doesn't have to be taken so literally, in that our choices are fresh every day. But that doesn't mean that the past is not still with us and it doesn't still affect us, but it doesn't have to be this like chain around our necks. That it's this celebration that yes, the past is a part of us. It can be alive in this context of, the trumpets blowing and things coming back up again, but it's still, it's a new feeling. It's not that now the dead and that which is past is here to control us. It's that the past is always with us, and it is a part of our current experience of choosing again in the present and into the future. So, and there's this other opportunity as well here, where it's talking about this transformation, these desires and fears, and it's talking about blame. So it's an interesting card of judgment. Judgment we often associate with blame. Who's wrong? Who did it right and who's wrong? And so there's this guilt associated with judgment and this fear of blame. But this talking about this cycle or this habit of assigning blame either to yourself. A lot of the time we can really be hard on ourselves and blame ourselves, and then we saddle ourselves with guilt, and that guilt is then heavy with us for the rest of the choices we make. But that kind of that blame game is it's a dead end. Like it's not accepting what has happened. It's trying to rewrite what's happened by assigning blame, like this retroactive atonement, but it's not really atonement. It's just this weight of guilt that's kind of being slammed on you. Blame and guilt is not really about healthy reparation. It's not necessarily like very productive atonement. It's not relationship building from those who have hurt and those who are hurt. It's just kind of spinning its wheels and kind of doesn't really get anywhere. So, but it's a very, very strong habit we have because we have these connotations of judgment and somebody has to pay. So that habit is going to be brought up a lot until you have a healthier relationship to it. So it can feel like this endless cycle of blame or guilt, but every time you feel guilt, it is like this fresh new day, this new choice that you get to make. What are you going to do with that guilt? Are you going to accept that whatever the event happened that is causing you to feel guilt happened, whether you really are to blame and you did something wrong? And if you accept that happened, now the choice is before you. What do you do? Do you have a chance for atonement? Do you have ability to do reparations? Can you apologize? What is the way to end that cycle of blame and hurt and shame and move forward with a new choice, this new day? But you can always choose the same old choice again. And then you'll go through that blame and guilt cycle again. And then that will come up again. And you can feel like, oh my God, I'm so saddled to this experience. How come this keeps happening? I must deserve it. Guilt cycle all the time. When really every time that same problem comes up, it's because it's offering you a new choice, a new way out, a new way to do things. And it will keep coming up which is actually a really big gift. The fact that our problems keep coming up, probably because we're making the same mistake, and we're always being offered this chance to go a new way, to make a new choice. So if we stop repeating those cycles, it's one of two things. Either it's because we've transcended it, we've experienced that transformation, symbolized with these butterflies, from the caterpillar into the butterfly transformation. And so the problem is no longer present and doesn't have to keep coming up. Or if we haven't actually transformed and fixed the problem, if it stops coming up, we lose the opportunity to change and grow. It's kind of like when you feel pain in your body, it's an indication that something is up, something needs to be changed. And either the pain goes away because we heal it, we make different choices, and we heal the body, we don't feel pain, or it goes the other way and we start to numb out. We stop feeling pain, but we're actually further away from health because we've just gotten so overwhelmed by it that we've lost the signal that something's wrong. So if those problems, like if we receive with gratitude these cycles of things coming up again, it's because we're still feeling the pain and we have an opportunity to transmute it still. If those problems never came back up again, it's kind of like you gave up, or the universe gave up on you, and doesn't give you the opportunity to change it anymore. So every time, if those cycles are coming up, be grateful that there's another chance. And then you can trust that it'll come up if you don't get it right. You don't have to panic that I have to fix it because, I'm scared it'll happen again. It's more like, okay, you know what? Even if I succeed by a degree and make it just a little bit of a different choice to be in a healthier state, you know what? The next time it comes up, that'll be just less work to do. And the next time it comes up, it'll just be a little bit left. Like it's not you're in the wrong until you fix it all in one go. Like these can be incremental changes. This Judgment Day, waking up and make new choices every day. Sometimes we wake up and that day is different and you make a massive turnaround and your life is always different. But most likely every day you maybe make a different choice incrementally. You get up a little bit, you sleep more because you're really tired, or you get up earlier because you want to do something with your time, or you just do a little bit of exercise that day, or you're just going to eat a little different, or you're going to call up your mom and you haven't talked to her for a while just today. And you just make little changes over time. Each day is a new opportunity to make a little change that overall in the span of every day being a new day creates a new life. It doesn't have to be all at once. So those big ultimate all at once changes are often these like kind of touted like inspirational stories. But a lot of the time those happen because somebody was pushed to crisis and they had no choice but to change all at once because they kind of left at the last minute. So incremental change, though it doesn't make the big headlines, is significantly easier and significantly like less chaotic and more realistic for the energy that we have to put in every day. So that's this accepting each day as a gift that offers another step of transformation, but that transformation is you get to choose what it's going to be. You've made your choices in the past, you're free to choose a new, you decide which road. Everybody's day of judgment looks different, everybody's opportunity to choose differently is going to be different. So I'm going to pull out for a second from that card and we're going to talk a little bit about the astrology. So as I mentioned, Aries season, which is what we're in right now with this first chunk of April, is all about a new beginning, a new awakening, a new cycle. So that's already kind of this, the closing out of Pisces season, closing that year and opening the new one into Aries season. It kind of feels like that Judgment Day of like this gateway from the past to the present, or the past to the future. And that gateway is the present, is every moment that you wake up and you exist, is this infinitely strange gateway from the past that just happened and the future that's on its way. Each present is like this threshold, this precipice, and we just crossed that precipice in the energetic year with equinox. So this whole card has Judgment Day has a lot of Aries energy in the cusp window of the ending of one cycle and the opening of the next. So I'm not really going to get too specific on that, other than the fact that Aries season, Aries is very much the sign of the self and the ego, and so grounding in, if you're trying to make this choice of what is right for me, what does my Judgment Day look like? What do I want to wake up afresh and put my energy towards every day? We can really easily kind of look around and be like, oh, what are they doing? Or, oh, I feel like I have to do that. Or this person's doing that atonement that way. And well, do I have to? Like, we can get into that guilt as well by hyperfixating on what other people are doing. Aries energy is really inviting you to just like not worry about other people and just focus in on yourself and what feels true and authentic for you to do each day when you wake up. So it's this, just don't worry about others. Just that's just going to increase that difficulty of not feeling guilt, and just that invitation of just center on the self. It's not selfish to have a self. It's not selfish to have needs and to choose to do things your way. You are a you for a reason. You are not a big cosmic bubble of like, you are differentiated into a single being with an ego for a reason. Use that ego. Be an individual. Even if part of your individual desire is to be in community, is to like having an ego and being a self doesn't mean rah rah I'm all by myself and F everybody else and I just want to do what I want to do. What you want to do can involve others, and most often will and often should. So it is still being a self to be connected to others, but it is not being a healthy self to just subordinate yourself and rip apart your identity and trying to like in this weird guilt sort of thing. That's not going to be very helpful. So pull that Aries energy of that self in. And then, as I said, we go into Taurus season towards the end of the month. And Taurus is this interesting, it's the season of like planting and building things in a beginning stage. In the northern hemisphere, this is springtime, but it's just like the planting stage. So little bud, like we're still just working little buds and things. This isn't a big harvest time. So this is a great sort of time to think about those incremental each day changes, where this is making the change is not the same thing as reaping the benefit of the change. And so it doesn't have the same like dopamine kick because you're just putting in the work and it is delayed satisfaction. But Taurus season is okay with that. Taurus knows that harvest is later. That's not what they're concerned about. So that'll be a great time towards the end of the month to just like implement some changes or some additions or some practices and just really receive the gift of each day. Taurus is also the sign of the great receiver, as somebody who is deeply in gratitude to all the things they receive and just revels in the pleasure of being alive and having a body. Like giving a gift to a Taurus, they're the best because there's so much gratitude there for the having of things. And so if you receive each day as this gift, this awakening, this opportunity to change and grow again and transform, then there's excitement for whatever comes in that day, even if what happens that day is rest. Not every day has to be work. Rest is a gift. Rest is a part of the long process of creating something. And so whatever it is that you choose to do each day, you receive it as a gift, you have that gratitude, and then you pour that back into the work. So that's going to be more towards the end of the month. So beginning of April is this really awakening to the self, feeling that sense of ego and saying, what is that desire there? This card also had a lot of desires and fears, so that can be tied into that like guilt cycle. But the positive side is where our desires, our egoic desires, guiding us towards. And then towards the end of the month, we get to work. We get to delight in the opportunity to exist and make choices and receive the gift of each day. So that's what's going to be happening this month. So I don't think I'm going to necessarily... No, Cancer, you know what you're about. I don't need to pull in the Cancer specific things. This is just what you're on about. This is just going to be really exciting for you to do. If you want additional support and a little bit more astrological context of what's happening, specifically this beginning of April and Aries season, I have a Aries season workshop. It's a pay what you can workshop, so it's got a lot more information on different transits of the planets and that there's some different energy still at play. We're not all in Aries energy, even if the sun is in Aries and we're in that season. There's still lots of Pisces energy, lots of other things happening. So if you want to get some support of that context, that will help you guide you for what's going on with this particular card, check that out. It's on my YouTube channel, Pay What You Can. It's going to be excellent. And then there'll also be another one coming up towards the end of the month for Taurus season. So that'll be supportive for kind of the ending bit of this card. So definitely check both of those out. Other than that, best of luck, Cancer. Have a great month.